I don't know, I kind of realized that I'm not transitioning as well as I was hoping I would. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is Sunday for me, and so I decided to start looking at churches. And I figured that'd be a great way to meet new people and to just kind of become social. I feel like I have chocolate all over me. Just ate some chocolate. And so I decided here's a good time for story time because my morning was pretty interesting. So story time. Alright, so I drive half an hour away. I'm currently staying in Fort Pierce, Florida, and we're hoping to live in Vero Beach, which is about half an hour away, and that is where we're working. And so I decided to look into churches that are near our jobs, because hopefully our future residents will be in proximity of there. So I found a really nice church, and I went to it. And I mean, everybody was super friendly. I walk in, and they won't even let me walk through the building without being greeted and have to introduce myself and stuff. And it's a little bit bigger than the church I'm used to at home. So, I mean, I was kind of used to it. And first thing that happens is I walk in is they tell me that there's donut holes, there's coffee, and there's tea by the door. So I'm like, awesome. Yeah, free donuts. Like, yeah. But no, I showed up literally right on time, so all the donuts were gone. And so I debate for a second whether I want hot tea or hot coffee. And I'm like, I should probably drink some coffee. So I go to the coffee thing. It's empty. So just kidding. So then I threw away that cup because it had like a little bit of coffee in it. It was just, And so then I decided to get some hot tea. And I couldn't find any stirrers. So I stir like straw thingies. So I literally get hot tea, put the tea bag in, and pour 2 sugar packets in there. And I'm like, I'll just have to swish it around or something. I don't know. And yeah, so I find a seat in the very, very back because I don't know anybody here and I don't want to be awkward and church is starting. And so I sit in the very, very back and I'm going through worship, and worship was okay. It's not what I'm used to. And you can tell that this church is like slightly Pentecostal. And I grew up as Southern Baptist, so it's like super low key. I mean, everybody's friendly and stuff still, but it's low key. It's not like a big deal. Pentecostals are just a little bit more vocal. So worship was a little bit more vocal than I'm used to, and I was like low-key judging because I'm trying to decide whether or not this will be a good fit for me or not. And so the pastor walks up afterwards and he's like, you can sit down. I sat down on my tea, literally. And the way I sat, it only got like on me a little bit because most of it went through the crack of the seat, and all I heard was it just spilling. And I'm like, this is my first impression of this church. And people are gonna know me as they spilled her drink all over the floor. And no one was sitting around me, and I was in the very back, so that kind of worked to my benefit. So I went to the coffee tea area, got a whole bunch of napkins, and I started wiping it all up. And there were a couple of people standing in the back, like, that were the greeters and stuff, and they're just watching me. And, like, in the back of my mind, I'm, like, low-key judging them for not bothering to offer their assistance. But whatever. And then, like, I keep getting up and getting more napkins because they're doing announcements, like, on those screens at this point. And I'm trying to be as quiet as I can. Apparently, like, I had more tea than I thought I did because it was just so wet. And anyway, so at one point, one of the guys, like, kind of grabs my arm. He's like, I need to get you to clean my house. And I was like, I sat on my tea. Like, yeah, oh my gosh. And so he didn't really offer his help. He just made a comment about it. And so I get through that, and I wipe up as much as possible that I can see in the dark. And then I sit down in my seat with my empty cup of tea next to me. And he starts the series. And today's series was about being judgmental. And I felt like that was almost a slap in the face. I was like, God's got jokes. God's got jokes, because I was being like low-key judgmental all morning about this church. And then this series today was about being judgmental. So with all that said, if you want any of my notes any Sunday, I definitely recommend you going to my Instagram, because I always post my notes on my story. And I'm on Instagram a lot more than I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram every single day. And I'm not saying I'm a funny person, but at least I think I'm a little humorous. And yeah, like last night I literally went on a rant about me watching Twilight, because I watched Twilight all night. And I had polls and everything going on about whether or not people still watch this. And it's like, I know that Twilight's not the best movie, and it's a horrible plot, and it's not romantic at all, but 8th grade Brooke still watches Twilight, because anytime it comes on, it's like my brain snaps, and I'm like, I have to watch this. And I do. So, I digress. I just realized my windshield wiper is like really weird. Anyway, yeah, so church was interesting today. Notes will be on my story this morning. I took a lot of notes. I took more notes today than I've taken in months. So, the series and the sermon was awesome. So, it's like I wasn't like the biggest fan of the worship service, but I loved the sermon, and I won't say that's just as important or more important, but it's really important, you know what I mean? So, I probably will be going back. But yeah, I sat on my tea. And the whole time, as I was wiping it up, and I'm like, look at Satan, like, first time I'm back in church, and I'm in Florida, look at Satan. I sit on my tea, I'm missing the announcements, I'm hearing in the background about how there's like a couples gathering soon, and there's a men's gathering, and I'm like, I should be listening to this, because Ian and I would really, like, benefit from going to these things. But I can't, because I'm focusing on wiping up tea in the dark. And I'm like, look at Satan, like, this is just my life. And then I sat down again afterwards, and I'm like, nah, it's just like, look at my clumsiness, like, I'm the one who sat. I sat in my tea. So, story time is over. That's all I got for you. Guys, so I'm currently on my lunch break. It's been a couple of days since I last vlogged, and there's a reason for that. So I was going to finish up the vlog that evening, of the last footage that you just saw, but it's kind of hard to explain, but it's been crazy a couple days. Okay, so I was out mailing off, or trying to mail off the invitations, and I was also running a couple errands, like grabbing rent money and stuff. And I was talking to Ian like normal, and he was basically saying like, hey, like, can you call me, like, I miss you, I love you, all that stuff. So I was like, yeah, like, let me finish what I'm doing, and then I'll call you. And so I got back to the cottage, and before going in, I walked over to the main house, and I gave the rent money for that week. And I walk into the cottage, and like, the first thing you see is the bed. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I would check out the cottage tour, and I'll link that card up here. But the first thing you see is the bed, and Ian was sitting there, and I knew that he was planning on being here in a few days. Today is Tuesday. He came on a Sunday night, so that was Sunday night, and I'm expecting to see him this upcoming Sunday. So I wasn't planning on seeing him for at least another week. And it was also dark in the cottage, like there were no lights on or anything. And so I looked ahead, and the first thing I saw was him, and I literally had to do a double take. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what? Oh my, like, tears came and everything. And I was like, what are you doing here? And he came with his best buddy, and they came to come get like a moving trailer, which is what we're gonna use to move our stuff down. And yeah, like, it's like a 9-hour drive, and they came down for a moving trailer, which is awesome. And he came and like visited, and so he was here for a couple of days. So that was Sunday night, and then Monday night, we went and hung out with his best buddy's like family, and we were all just kind of hanging out, and I was meeting new people. And then that was last night, which is, yeah. And then today's Tuesday, and he's gone now. We were supposed to get lunch together, but he had to leave early. And yesterday he met me during my lunch break, and I have a late lunch break. My lunch break's at 2 o'clock. So it was kind of a bummer I couldn't get lunch with him today, but he came by, and he dropped off the keys because he was using my car. It's not like he was traveling that much, but Yeah, but he needed, a car to get to his friend's house after I went to work in the morning. And yeah, so he was like, hey, just so you know, there's a couple surprises for you in the car. And there's also something really small at the cottage. And I'm like, okay, sure. So I ended up taking my lunch break at 1:30 because curiosity killed the cat. And I came into my car, and the first thing I did was I looked up, and he had some cash in the visor, and it was really sweet, so I paid for my lunch today. And I looked down, which is what he told me to do, and almost underneath the seat was a Star Crunch. And there's those little Dubby Star Crunch, like crispy snacks, and those are, I love those. It's like a guilty pleasure of mine. And he filled my tank too. It was literally almost empty, and he filled my tank, and it's just sweet. So I have no idea what the cottage surprise is. It's probably they probably got snack food for the road, and he probably left behind some snack food for me, which I'm cool with. Like, they say that food is the way to a man's heart, but it's also the way to Brooke's heart. So I'm totally cool with him leaving food if that's what he ended up doing. So I'll have to wait another couple hours to see what that's about. But yeah, it's kind of like sweet. No, like all that's really sweet. I'm just thinking it's like bittersweet that he's leaving today, just because I know he's gonna be back in only a couple of days. But I don't know. It's been really lonely down here, and I feel like I've been literally picked up and dropped off into a whole new life. And it's like meeting a whole bunch of new people and starting a new job that I have no idea what I'm doing, and trying to find a church home. Like, it's been kind of tough. So having him here, it was comfortable, and it was just so nice to have him around again. So I'm really looking forward to him being back in a couple of days. Yeah, so that's been my last few days. I don't know, I kind of realized that I'm not transitioning as well as I was hoping I would. I haven't really been doing much but working and sleeping. Like, all I do is work. I work 7:30 to 5. It takes about half an hour to 40 minutes to and from work. So by the time I get back to the cottage, it's pushing like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and I'm just exhausted, and I'm like mentally drained, and I just want to crawl into bed and like watch TV or something. And that's all I've been doing. And with that said, I've not really been making an effort with other people. I'm like burning up now. It is 95 degrees outside. My car is roasting, and I have the AC off because you can't hear me with the AC on. But side story. But yeah, so I'm just kind of, I need to make more of an effort with people, and like find a place where I fit, and find like a community. And I did go to church, and it was okay. It wasn't bad. It was just, we'll see. I'll feel more like driven to find a church when like Ian's part of that conversation, because it affects him just as much as me. So, because that's like hopefully where we'll continue to keep going. So we'll see. But yeah, just kind of wanted to share that with you guys. I'm going to go ahead and end this vlog though, so I can go ahead and put it together and get it ready, so I can upload it and have it scheduled to air, so that I can actually keep up with the 2 vlogs a week thing. So I hope you guys are having a great week so far. Let me know what's up. Tell me what you guys are up to this week. I'd love to stay in the loop. And if you like what you see, and if you like these videos, think about subscribing, even clicking on that bell, so you'll be notified every time I post something. See you guys soon. Bye. Hey, no, maybe not.